All right, today we're tackling a big one, the modern relaxation dilemma. I mean, in a world that's always on, how do you actually turn off? Now, really, think about it for a second. After a crazy day, back to back meetings, deadlines breathing down your neck, your phone buzzing nonstop, what's your go to? How do you switch off? It sounds like such a simple question, but the answer, well, it's gotten really complicated, hasn't it?
For decades, maybe even longer, the default answer has pretty much always been the same: alcohol. It's what we reach for at social events, after work, you name it. It's just become this built in cultural ritual for taking the edge off.
But let's be honest, that ritual, it comes with a pretty steep price tag. We're talking about that fuzzy-headed feeling, terrible sleep, and a nosedive in productivity the next day. Not to mention the long-term strain on our bodies, and of course, the very real risk of dependency. And this image here really tells the story, doesn't it? We're stressed, so we reach for something to relax, but that something often just adds to the problem, messing with our head, our focus, and our health. It's a trade-off that, honestly, a lot of us are starting to second guess. So what if you didn't have to make that trade-off? What if you could get that feeling of unwinding, but without losing control? Well, turns out there might be a better way. And that brings us to this. Si14 Kava Beer. It's being pitched as a way to achieve what they're calling conscious relaxation. So what exactly is this stuff? Okay, it's a non-alcoholic functional beverage made from the kava root. But here's the really important part. It's not trying to be a fake beer. It's not an imitation. Instead, it's offering a completely new way to relax, a different physiological model that's designed to work with your brain, not against it. Okay, that's a pretty bold claim, right? A new model for relaxation. So how does it actually work? Let's get into the science of it. All right, so the magic, if you want to call it that, comes from these natural compounds in the kava root called kavalactones. Think of them as tiny messengers that gently interact with the key systems in your brain that control your mood and stress levels. First up, we've got GABA. You can pretty much think of GABA as your brain's natural brake pedal. It tells your nervous system when to slow down. Cavalactones basically help GABA press that pedal, easing that internal tension and bringing everything back into a state of nice, calm balance. Then you've got dopamine. We all know this one. It's the pleasure and reward neurotransmitter. What the cavalactones do here is create a gentle mood lift, a sense of satisfaction, but, and this is crucial, without that intense artificial high or the awful crash that you get from a lot of other substances. And rounding it all out is serotonin, which is all about stability. By interacting with serotonin, cavalactones can boost feelings of tranquility and emotional stability. This is what helps you feel more comfortable, more at ease, especially in social settings. So, okay, you put all three of those actions together. What does it actually feel like? Well, the result is described as this feeling of calm, a gentle euphoria, and just this internal comfort. And the best part? It all happens without any intoxication. Your mind stays sharp. Okay, the science sounds pretty cool, but how does this stack up against the thing we all know? Let's put alcohol and this new alternative head to head. I mean, this image says it all, right? On the one side, you have the chaos that can come with alcohol. Stress, losing control, physical wear and tear. And on the other side, a completely different picture. Calm, clarity, and balance. It's basically a visual roadmap from chaos to calm. And this chart breaks it down even clearer. Just look at the pattern here. Mental clarity, impaired versus maintained. The next day, hangover versus nothing. Risk of dependency, exists versus doesn't form. You see the trend. It's all about getting the relaxation while keeping full control and your cognitive function intact. All right, so we get the how and the what. But what about the when and the who? Where does something like this actually fit into modern life? Well, it seems it's really designed for the modern achiever. We're talking entrepreneurs, executives, creative types, anyone with high intellectual demands. It's for people who really value their health and, above all, being in control. And, there's also this really interesting group. People who've given up alcohol but kind of miss that ritual, that act of having a drink to signal the end of the day. And when would you use it? Well, pretty much any time. After a brutal day at work? Sure. But also, maybe during a tense negotiation, to stay cool, or just hanging out with friends. And here's the real game changer. Because it doesn't impair you, you can have one day or a night. You can even have one right before you drive home. No problem. And it's not just about that one-off moment of chill. The idea is that using it regularly can actually help lower your overall stress and anxiety levels. It can improve your emotional baseline, letting you relax without getting drowsy, so you can keep your focus and stay productive. It's a long-term play. And all of this really comes back to the core philosophy behind the product. See, it's not about covering up stress with a substance. It's about giving your nervous system what it needs to find its own natural balance again. So really, what we're looking at here is a new ritual for relaxation, one that's conscious, clean, and safe. It's positioned as more than just a beverage. It's being presented as a toolkit for navigating modern life and staying balanced through it all. And that really leaves us with just one big question to think about. When you consider the real costs of our old ways of unwinding, isn't it time to think about an upgrade?